Night of the Animated Dead. Great cover. An animated version, another animated version, because there's been a few in the past, I believe, of Night of the Living Dead. Now, this came out at the end of 2021, around about Halloween, straight to DVD, Blu-ray sort of thing here in the UK. And it's a mixed bag, really. First of all, I like to say I do like Night of the Living Dead. I love George Romero. I love the Night of the Living Dead franchise, the Dead franchise. I like the original Night of the Living Dead from 1968, was it? 68, 67, whatever it was. And I liked the remake by Tom Savini in 1990 as well, which was backed by George Romero. Now, this version as animation, as an animated kind of retelling of the story, is only 68 minutes long, so it's not long. The animation is a bit jerky, I must admit, but I'm trying not to be too hard on it or anything like that. For what it is, it's worth a watch at least once or so. And it's got your classic characters in there. You've got Ben, Barbara, Cooper, Mr. Cooper, his wife, Tom, Judy, and you know the whole thing is almost like a radio telling of. What I mean by radio telling, it's like somebody's like got the original script of Night of the Living Dead and followed it and recited it like precisely almost. The clever thing I thought about this, though, when they tell things in flashback, they actually do go to a flashback instead of just talking. So we do have a few flashbacks. For example, when Ben's talking about when he goes to the diner, Ben, the lead hero in this, sorry. That's Ben there with the baseball bat. He doesn't have a baseball bat in this, by the way. And he's telling his story about how he went to the diner and he saw like a van be set on fire with a load of zombies, and he plows through them sort of thing. So that's pretty much like told. You get to see the visual side of that instead of it just being a flashback. The film itself, just average. It's not bad, it's not awful, but there could have been room for like improving the script of the original, etc, etc. The zombie kills are pretty fun. What I did like about this is when they first find the first dead body upstairs. Sorry about the spoilers. You should have seen Night of the Living Dead by now. When Judy finds the dead deceased zombie upstairs, you can see the bullet hole, the shotgun hole right through its head sort of thing. So you can see how that one was killed. So it is quite fast paced once it gets going, and it pretty much follows it almost frame by frame of the original Night of the Living Dead, cleverly titled Night of the Animated Dead. It's got a making of on this version on the DVD. As you can see, some of the animation on there, I don't know what you think about it. Some of it's been enhanced, but some of it's just generally what you see here. Like I said, it's got your favourite characters in there, whether you like them or not. It's got the same pretty much kills in there. You got the little girl with the shovel, with the trout shovel thing, killing the mum down in the cellar when she gets reanimated. But just in general, it's a fun thing. It's a fun little animation. Not for kids, definitely not for kids. And yeah, Night of the Animated Dead could come as a bit of criticism towards it, but just in general, maybe just worth watching once or so. But I probably would give this about a 5 out of 10, something like that. I don't want to be too harsh on it either. For what it is what it is, really, like a 68-minute roller coaster ride of an animation. Not bad. Bit hokey in places. Well, I mean hokey, seemed a bit rushed, but then again the budget could have been quite low on this thing anyway, so But the animation and stuff, you know, isn't brilliant. It's a bit jerky in places, sort of thing. The zombies kind of look a bit too cardboard cutout, generic sort of thing. But you got your famous zombies in there, like the one eating the bug, the 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐞 zombie, who is a bold zombie. He hasn't got any hair or anything like that. But yeah, I'd definitely give it about a 5 out of 10 or so, something like that. But if you come across it, probably give it a watch or rent it, something. If it's streaming, then definitely stream it, just to out of curiosity sort of thing. It's 15. Definitely not going to be any lower than that in the rating for the actual film rating. But my rating, you know, is about average, really. It's beautiful artwork on the front of it, and the slipcase sleeve, beautiful artwork. I'll give it that. As I said, what begins as a simple visit to a gravesite soon escalates into a night of sheer terror in this dark animated retelling of the 1968 cult classic Night of the Living Dead. Bloodthirsty zombies suddenly start spreading everywhere as Barbara and Ben and an odd couple of strangers hide in a remote farmhouse that struggles to ward off the flesh eaters outside. Creates fierce tension inside, you know, the tension with the characters and stuff, containing terrifying new content not found in the original Night of the Living Dead, which should convince you to lock the doors. As I said, special feature, making of animating the dead. There's nothing too special at the end of the day. Bit of fun here and there. If you like your gore, you probably might get a kick out of it. If it's streaming, definitely watch it before you buy it, sort of thing. Night of the Living Dead is definitely a classic. I love the original Night of the Living Dead, and I've actually ordered it on Blu-ray now, even though there's been that many versions that have come out of Night of the Living Dead just in general. Just a classic film, Night of the Living Dead, the original from 1968 by George Romero, followed by Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, and into the noughties we got Diary of the Dead, and we got Survival of the Dead, and that ended up being 6 Dead films in the franchise. I believe with George Romero, just in general, after his passing, I think his family have resurfaced a lot of old scripts, sort of thing, and which is quite amazing, actually. I'm not sure if Twilight of the Dead's coming out or anything like that. I knew they mentioned something about a new Dead film coming out at some point, directed by the Romero estate and family. There's a George Romero Foundation as well, which is worth checking out. 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭. George A. Romero Foundation, which is worth checking out. But just going back to this film, it's okay. It's okay. I can't recommend the original George Romero's films enough. It's from a totally different source, because Night of the Living Dead went to the original Night of the Living Dead kind of like went copyright free for a while, I believe, and it's got a totally different style of filmmaking on this, or animation, whatever you want to call it. But if the animation was a bit more better on it, maybe I'd recommend it a bit more, sort of thing. But in the meantime, just check out the original George A. Romero classics, Night of the Living Dead, etc, the Dead series, sort of thing, and you can't go too far wrong, because they are fun films and definitely cult zombie classics if you like zombies, sort of thing. We grew up in that type of stuff growing up, and my dad introduced me to that type of stuff, and watched them late night TV stuff. So anyway guys, take care. Night of the Animated Dead, check it out, stream it, watch it soon. Hope you're doing well, guys. See you soon. Bye.